leading the ACC in three-point shooting, and they make them in bunches. They beat Miami, well, almost a couple weeks ago now, and they would go a stretch of 90 seconds and make 3 threes. And obviously when that happens, the scoreboard moves really fast. So we got to make sure we contest the three-point shot for 40 minutes. And then, if we can force them to miss, we got to do a great job on the glass because they also rebound at a really good rate. They something like +7 on the glass. They've got great length inside. Their guards are big. Their wings are big. So got to do a really good job there.
Coach, you guys are used to awesome fans here at the Siegel Center. Is it kind of exciting for the guys to be able to get into the Coliseum? It'll be an essential home game for you guys. You should have a lot of fans there. It might sell out. It's got to be exciting for the guys, I would imagine, to play in State Full on that stage.
Well, we're looking forward to getting back in the Coliseum. It's been over a year and a half since the CAA tournament in 2012, and obviously have good memories from that game and that championship game and that whole tournament. But just looking forward to playing in front of our fans, and it won't be exactly a home game because there'll be a lot of Virginia Tech fans there as well. But I'm sure that the people that are wearing black and gold will make sure that they're nice and loud.
With a guy like Jarrell Eddie for them, is that someone you maybe assign whoever one guy to him, or is it a collection of efforts you'll put on it?
Yeah, it's both. I mean, it's to start the game. You'll have one guy that draws that assignment, but you always want to guard a good player like Eddie with multiple guys, and you want to guard him with your whole team when he has the ball and when he's coming off of screens. You want to give help at different times, and then you also want to put different guys on him to make sure that they're contesting shots.
You guys are pretty familiar with that as those who fight the cap injury, but on film, does he look similar? I mean, what's different about him? It's been 2 years now since you saw him last.
He's stronger. He's more confident. He's attacking more on the dribble. He's always been a guy that could really shoot. But he's done what guys should do in college, and that's he's gotten better. He was a freshman when we saw him with UNC Wilmington, and now he's in his third year of college basketball, and he's really improved. And that's a credit to him and the coaching staff at Virginia Tech and the work that they've put in.
Coach, do you take much from their game with Winthrop? The only common opponent, and you both played them relatively recently.
You watch it like any other game, but not really. I mean, it's not. It doesn't really work like that. That Winthrop did this against us, they did that against them. I mean, every game is different. So we'll watch the game and certainly break down what they did. But we take more from, say, the Radford game because Radford does some things that we do, and so a game like that is probably more valuable in scouting.
Do you see any of yourself or your program in Virginia Tech in that Coach Johnson, younger coach, trying to reestablish a program much like you guys did here just a couple of years ago? I don't know if that gives you any insight into what they are hoping to establish or what they're hoping to achieve each and every night. Can you look back that far and get a little insight into that, or not really?
Well, I mean, I think that's what's the case for any coach as you mentioned, working to establish his own program and put his stamp on the program and build his culture. Will Wade's going through it right now in his first year at Tennessee Chattanooga. Mike Jones is in his third year now at Radford. He's made major progress, and for Coach Johnson at Virginia Tech, he's in his second year. So yeah, we can look back at this time in our second year, and there's still growing pains. It's you're bringing in some guys that you recruited but there's other guys that were there in the past that you certainly have to make and want to make your guys. He was there as an assistant, so there is a little bit more continuity from that standpoint than there was in our situation. But I think they're doing a really good job, blending their new guys with the guys they had, and building a mentality of being aggressive. And they've certainly got those guys attacking on the offensive end and making a lot of shots.
You guys are obviously always looking for something to improve, I'm sure, but at this point in the season, are your guys where you would hope and expect them to be at this point? I know you have a lot of young guys coming up and trying to develop them as well.
Yeah, I've been asked that question a lot, and this is my true answer. As a coach, you don't sit in front of the schedule before the season and say this is where we want to be 12 games in. If you did, you would say we want to be 12-0. I mean, it's obviously you never would plan to lose any games, but unfortunately, the other coaches are doing the same thing. So, I think where we want to be is we want to be getting better. We want to be improving. And I think the teams that have been really good here over the years, and this is going back to, Eric Maynor and even before that, the teams that have been good here have gotten better over time and improved. They've improved during the non-conference schedule. All the teams over the years here that I've studied, have taken lumps here or there, taken a hit here or there. There's been no undefeated team here. There's been no perfect record, but I think the teams that have gotten better and made progress each week, each month, play their best basketball at the end, those teams have had really good seasons.
You said after Tuesday night that I think you said you were going to talk to Javonte about his performance Tuesday, just to maybe gauge where his head was at that night. Have you had a chance to talk to him and get any insight into what happened with him Tuesday and making sure it doesn't happen again?
We talk every day, every night, so it's not a matter of making sure it doesn't happen again, though. Like we're not talking about a machine. We're not talking about something that is like we want Javonte to be the best Javonte Reddick he can be, and that's never going to change. And that starts off the court and it translates on the court. And I was very hard on him after the game, and I'm going to continue to challenge and demand more from him and better from him, and he knows that, and I think he knows underneath it all there's a great deal of love and respect. But you're talking about a young guy that's come a long, long way. Again, I think I love you guys, but you tend to oversimplify things sometimes. And he had a bad game. I mean, that's the fact. But can we make sure that never happens again? Well, if it was that easy, we would have done that a long time ago with all our guys. But we just got to keep moving them forward. And I think for him and his teammates, they understand that it is a process and they've got to improve. And he wants to be better, and I think that he'll continue getting better.
Coach, last month or so, we've been involved in a lot of community service and community outreach with the hospital and shopping with the Rams. How important is that to the growth of our players as people, as well as kind of getting out and helping people we're getting involved with?
Well, it's really important. It's something that we enjoy, and we're very fortunate here at VCU to play in front of a sold-out crowd every time we take the floor at the Siegel Center, and that's something we do not take for granted. We don't take for granted the level of interest and fan excitement that there is in Richmond for our team. So, one of the ways that we want to express our appreciation for that is just by being a part of the community beyond basketball and beyond school. And some of the things that we do from our office is just to participate in the community and show people that even though the majority of our lives we're spending on basketball and on school, we also want to step outside of that from time to time and participate in other people's lives that aren't maybe directly involved in our world.
Javonte was a key player for you guys last year, but are teams playing differently this year, do you think? Is he getting
Yeah, I mean, good players are going to get attention. Yes, but they played him. You know, he was a good player last year, so he's going to get attention. Travion Graham's going to get attention. There'll be double teams sometimes. There's a scouting report that every team does, and that's part of being, you know, a featured player. But there's you know, Jarrell Eddy at Virginia Tech is dealing with the same thing, and I think it's something that is flattering, really. And I'm sure there's a lot of guys on our team that would love to have the other team's scouting report feature them. It just means that you've got to work all that much harder to, you know, get the ball, go score, and do the things you do well.
You mentioned Jaquan after the Tuesday game about his play the last, I think he's averaging over 12 points the last 5 games.
Mhm.
You even said you don't win some of them without his contributions. As far as offense and defense goes, that's one thing, but can you coach him in the intangibles of, you know, the leadership that a point guard maybe has to bring? Or is that something that really has to come from him, and it may take a little bit longer because he's only a freshman? Can you ask too much at one point?
We're trying. I mean, we're trying to coach him on those things. Mike Rhodes has done a really good job mentoring him. Mike's always, since we got here, spent a lot of extra time with our point guards. You know, starting with Joey, going to Darius, Briante, and now Jaquan. He's come a long way. You know, I think the number one key with him, just like with Javonte Reddick, is just personal growth and development. And as you continue to make strides in that area, it's amazing the progress you make on the court. And you mentioned leadership. It's amazing how much easier it is to open your mouth and say the things you need to say as a point guard or as a leader as you continue to grow as a person. The reality is it's a timeline that will not be complete until well before any of our guys, or well after any of our guys graduate. But it's still something that we're going to try, work every day to expedite. And he's doing a really good job buying in. I think the more a guy asks for coaching, the more a guy wants to improve, the faster that process goes.
Games like this, the Virginia game and this game, fans get pretty excited about playing, you know, AC schools in the state. Is that sort of thing, does that trickle down to the players? Do they get up more for a game like this because it's that kind of?
I think our guys are excited. Yeah, I know our guys are excited to play this game. You know, Virginia Tech's an ACC school in the state of Virginia. Didn't really recruit our guys. I think they recruited Melvin, but in the end, didn't take them, or something happened there. You know, there should be a level of motivation there, but you know, it's also, you know, a very important game for us, the next game on our schedule, and a game in Richmond. It's a unique game in that it's the only one all year long that we play in the Richmond Coliseum. So there's a lot of things about this game that, you know, should get your attention as a player, in addition to the fact that they have a really good team.
Would you like to see this event continue beyond this year?
I mean, would
Would
love.
you rather schedule, you play in-state teams already, would you rather schedule them on your own rather than playing on a neutral court?
I don't mind playing on a neutral court, and I certainly don't mind playing Virginia Tech. So if it continued, I'm sure if this specific event continued, they would probably change the matchups though. So, you know, one thing I like about this year is we do get an opportunity to play, you know, and again, this is something the fans really love, is we get an opportunity to play really going around the state the majority of the, you know, high-level programs in the state of Virginia, whether they're in our conference and we play them in league or whether we play them outside of league.
Have you ever had I'm not sure it's your personality, but have you ever had to control the urge to have a rant like the Southern Illinois coach had the other night? I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but
No, on the players, the way he went off the players, no, that's just not. Now, I might have a rant about other things, but no, I just think, I think coaches work very hard, just like people in other professions, but it's a very, very public profession, and it's one in which really your number one goal and aim is not the same as everyone that watches you and everyone that makes a judgment on you and everyone that writes about you. So with those things, there's a tension there because, all people really are concerned about is winning, and I understand that's kind of the nature of sports in this country. But we know that for us as coaches, our biggest job is moving these guys forward as people, and then winning can be a byproduct of that. But it's not always an immediate byproduct of that. So if I was ever going to go on a rant, it would probably be about that. Just the fact that there's a disconnect. Listen, I've, as much as anyone, benefited from that. I mean, the emphasis on winning has been something that's really painted us in a great light over the years here at VCU. But that's not the number one reason why we're here. And if it becomes about that, only about that, then we're really selling ourselves short. So there's a little short rant for you, but I'm not going to talk about my wife or.
she could do better than 2 for 11, though, right?
Could she shot fake more than once?
Shot it.
No comment.